Oh boy, do I have something special for you today. See, we have quite the tricky problem to solve in the West, and it's perfectly embodied by the Lipcon boomer. I present to you Ulf Porschert, a very serious man. He ran a newspaper for years, and until last week he was the publisher of Welt, Politico and Business Insider. As of the 1st of July, he is officially downgraded to Axel Springer's freest contributor. Currently he's having a Twitter beef with Björn Höcke, our equivalent to Rupert Lowe, I suppose. He posts a video of a black AfD member taking off his shirt and showing a German eagle tattooed across his chest. The caption reads more or less that this man understands Germany better than Björn Höcke, and that it is rather strange how nobody in the AfD wants to stand up to Höcke and his racist nonsense. What an emblematic tweet, huh? It's not even a German exclusive. Over in the UK you've got kind of the same drama recently. Rupert Lowe has disavowed ethno-nationalism on a few podcasts. It seems to be the rooted thing, held at arm's length before anyone thinks he might have meant it. Same reflex, just in English. In this very tweet here, we have a native that is being compared to a stranger that wears the right symbols. And naturally the stranger wins out. The outsider's more German than the German. Except, aren't they both German? Hidden inside of this, we see a man who finds his own people embarrassing, who needs the patriotic outsider as a stick to beat his own countrymen with. The Lipcon boomer captured in one post. For him, nationhood is just a subscription, a set of propositions. Blood is naturally nothing, the paperwork is everything, and anyone on earth who signs the terms and conditions is as German as a man whose ancestors are lying in the very ground we walk on. Behold, he exclaims, feast on the noblesse of my representative minority. Look how wildly patriotic he is. Nothing like your uptight racist Nazi. You can't really make that shit up, can you? I almost wanted to ask what we did to deserve all of this, but, spare us the answer. We know what we did. However, normally, you can't really crack a man open and look inside of his skull, but this particular issue did us a favor. The boomers made a lot of media. In fact, there's a very special movie, 3 of them actually, that I'd like to discuss with you today. It is in particular the third one, that is a very accurate MRI of the boomer subconscious in 3D for 10 gorillion $. See, that's kind of the thing about the stuff that people make. A man tells you everything he can't say out aloud, the second that he starts inventing a fictional world. Fiction is the one place where the guard comes down, nobody self-censors a daydream, and when a whole generation pours $1 billion into one, you don't really get a movie, you get a confession. I recently had the misfortune of watching the last Avatar movie that released, and God, did all of that remind me of this very movie. As such, I'd like to take you on the journey and explore a bit how the boomers' worldview maps onto this franchise. In order to do that, we need to quickly gloss over the first one. It wasn't exactly a great movie. To be honest, it's slop. But it's slop that worked because it had a reason for its conflict. Earth is dying, so we cross the stars for mineral that we need in order to not go extinct. And the best deposit, as fate would have it, sits right under the tree, where a tribe of 10-foot-tall cat people live. It is both sides that have something they can't really give up. It comes to war, after the negotiations fail. This war costs everyone something. You could argue either side and not be completely unhinged. That's a functioning story. But the third movie takes this and inverts it. We can see this best by examining Quaritch, the Colonel. He's a hard man, built like a door, scarred up, still brave despite the visible age. He leads from the front. He dies for his guys. Under him, everyone makes it back home. That's his promise. He's got an eagle tattooed on his arm. An eagle taking flight. Rather fitting, isn't it? Because that's what he is. He is the thing that climbs. He is the thing that goes up. Here on this alien planet, Quaritch is a man made into a force of nature. Our nature. You're meant to hate him, but it's impossible, because he is the only one in the whole movie who actually believes in something and is fully willing to put his own head on the line for it. Everyone else negotiates. Quaritch does not. This eagle brings me to the very best thing in the whole franchise. See, the cat people have a very interesting name for us. It's meant to mark us as strange and unwelcome outsiders. They call us the Sky People. Just think about what the name actually means for us. Not the invaders or the polluters, which is what the movie wants us to feel. But in the natives' own story, we are the ones who came down out of the sky, the ones who crossed the void in ships of steel because one planet wasn't enough. We are the ones that a whole world looked up to and could not stop. If that's not a unifying image, then I don't know what is. However, as a description, it's not untrue. Man orients himself upward. We are the ones who look up, and yet the entire movie is built to make us feel ashamed of that. Okay, now that we got the setting more or less... Okay, before we go directly into the plot, however, I want to show you what you're actually being asked to worship here. See, the Na'vi aren't designed like noble nature spirits. They are rather designed like they came out of a porn addiction. See, the blue ones are the boomer version of cat girls. Now, you can't really fault them for their looks, because the boomers didn't grow up with anime. They had to build their own cat people. The aliens, they have huge eyes, slit pupils, and slink around, bare their teeth, and run around barely covered, which is coded as innocent and feral at once. The pure little nature child who could also kill you. It's the noble savage with a hard-on, and they spent $1 billion on it. Now, the most peculiar feature of the cat people is their hair. The Na'vi connect to animals, to each other, to the planet. Well, it's kinda hard to explain this properly by unsheathing a tendril off the end of their braid and plugging it into another. Now, I'm not reaching here. The first movie tells us rather clearly, towards the end, what this actually is. The braid bond is the mating act. When two of the lead characters bond for life, the braid is the wedding night. So, let's honestly call it what it is, guys. It is a metaphysical hair penis. Everybody on Pandora walks around with a sacred hair penis, and the holiest act in the entire mythology is performed by plugging your hair penis into someone else's. What can I say, man? I didn't come up with that. However, this is also rather interesting. It shows us exactly how the boomer generation relates to intimacy, normal sex, to regular equipment. Nah, the movie couldn't care less. Barely there, barely shown, but the hair penises, the braid, oh, that's the real connection. That's how you touch the planet, bro, and feel something true. The flesh is just the hardware. The vibe, however, is holy, which is the whole boomer religion in one image. All the transcendence of faith with none of the obligations. All the pleasure of the body with none of the consequences. And while we are on the subject of hair penises, I'd like to talk about the fucking clothing. Or the lack of it. Come on, man. Everyone's literally dressed like they work a pole, including the characters who are children in the story. Same near nudity, same uncomfortably lingering camera, and of course, I'm the weird one for noticing it. Yeah, I'm weird for having eyes. No man, you put the fucking kids in the stripper outfit. You did that. I just noticed it. And see, many people will maybe invoke, oh, these are tribes people and they just run around like that, and you know, that's just the natural state of being, guys. See, I could have stomached that if it weren't for a few scenes that we will discuss later, because the movie genuinely shoves your face into all of this for hours, so it's hard not to notice. But this dynamic is itself part of the boomer mindset. You get exposed to a non-stop flood of degeneracy and maximally corrosive social conditions, but the very second that you complain about it, you are the problem. Don't you recognize your own hometown anymore? Full of people who weren't there when you grew up? Yeah, you Nazi, that's racism, apparently. Whatever, the blue cat people. These are our protagonist species anyway today. Now, with the setting locked in, I'd like to move to the third entry. Fire and Ash is its name. Let's start where the first one got everything right, and watch where the newest one takes a fat shit all over it. Now, the first problem are the stakes. See, in the first movie, we needed the mineral to survive. Earth was dying, and the clock was ticking. By the last entry in the series, the humans hunt the Tulkun. They are giant sentient whales, with culture and language and names of their own. The humans hunt them to drain an enzyme out of their brain, for what is essentially an anti-aging serum. We crossed the stars and committed genocide on a species of sentient whales so rich people could look younger. Seems legit. Now, in 2 movies the cause went from not going extinct to moisturizer. In the first film we are desperate. In this one we are just vain, and the movie can't even tell how brain-dead retarded that looks by comparison. Which brings me straight to Quaritch. Even though he dies in the first movie, leading his men, he isn't granted his rest. They turned him into a cat. That's right, they copied his mind and stuffed him into a blue Na'vi body. and by the end of this movie he's painting war stripes on his face, wearing a loincloth, taking a Na'vi mate, learning the language. The former gigachat of humanity slowly softened and domesticated into the exact thing that he fought against. The eagle's tattoo is still on there, on his blue arm now. The only thing that they let him keep. The franchise couldn't kill him, and they also couldn't stand to leave him a man, so it made him into a house cat. And of course there's still us, humanity, cartoonishly evil now. The most confessional bit is a flyover of the human base. I was genuinely a bit surprised in the cinema, as if it is sci-fi Mordor. Smoke, pipes, towers coughing into a dead sky, and the Dark Lord that is us, building things. There is not a single human structure in this entire franchise that is ever allowed to be beautiful, not a single one. Our whole species is making itself a place to live, and it gets shot like the planet has got a rash. And of course, to make sure that we all really get it, we are shown a scene right after we learn how smart the wholesome whales are, where one of them gets hunted on the way to the calf communion, the one time of the year that the Tulkun come together with their babies, and the humans, they kill the mother. And naturally, they shoot at the calf too, because it's fun, I guess? It doesn't even make any sense by the movie's own logic. See, the thing is too small. It has no enzyme worth taking. At least we are told that explicitly before the scene, and yet we fire on it anyway, so that even the most retarded troglodyte in the cinema understands how evil humans are. Now the evil humans lead us inevitably to the one human that isn't evil, to Spider. He is a newcomer and honestly a hilarious character. Spider is a human kid raised by the Na'vi. He grows the dreadlocks, and he wants nothing in life more than to stop being a human and start being accepted. Humans can't even breathe the same air, hence he has to wear a mask. As I had the misfortune to find out, he's Quaritch's son, the ashamed son, who hates his father, who'd carve the human out of himself if he could, just so that he can finally turn blue. Spider is James Cameron. He is the self-insert. The boomer doesn't want to be the patriarch Quaritch, the mean evil person who literally fought and died for what he believed in, so his men could come home. Nah, fuck that. The boomer wants to be the guilty son who renounces all of it and begs to be adopted by the pure noble savage, which is the most pathetic cry for help that I have seen in media in a very long time. It's not a character arc per se, it is actually just an absolution. Cameron built a $300 million machine for one job alone, to forgive himself for being white. And he does it shamelessly, because the movie plundered every borderline brain-dead theme it could find. Like the stepsister fetish, that's right, this shit is in here, because the movie has the instincts of a man who has watched too much of a certain genre. Spider is in love with Kiri, who is basically his sister. They grew up in the same family. The girl that he was raised beside as a sibling is the one that he's circling romantically. Step bro energy in an eco-fable for grown-up children. And the movie has no idea that any of this is completely degenerate. Now this is also why I kinda ranted about the clothing earlier. See, while we are at it, one of the fetishized tropes is that, well, how do I fucking explain this proper? Kiri has sex with the planet. Yeah. The over-fetishization of nearly everything is crowned when Kiri finds her superpower and starts fucking the planet. Oh, and naturally Kiri, by the way, was immaculately conceived. No father, born by the will of the planet goddess, out of a dead scientist's avatar, a literal virgin birth messiah, played completely straight. Whatever. Her special power is that she can plug her hair penis into the planet. Is that the movie shoots it like a cowgirl riding it to climax. The ecstasy, the posture, the rhythm. A teenage girl, functionally the sister of Spider, is riding Mother Earth to orgasm to rebuild her foster brother's lung so that he can breathe again. All of it while some pampered, coddled soycucks in the theater stare at it in awe. And the film thinks that this is all sacred. What the fuck am I watching? Now, all of this doesn't really stop constantly the whole damn time. The over-fetishization gets pressed into your face. But again, I'm the weird one for noticing it. Now, I'm really not rude. This stuff wouldn't bother me at all if it didn't constantly involve children and complete degeneracy, like this here. Hyper-fetishized scene number 9312. During the final battle, the actual climax Okay, not that one, guys, the one with the swords and the monsters and death everywhere. One of the cat people is heavily pregnant, because of course she is. And you know what time it is? That's right, guys, it's time to give birth. Because why the fuck not? It's surely some very deep statement about life and death and the great circle of being. Shut the fuck up, man. It's just full-on retarded. We get to marvel at James Cameron's render farm jerk-off fantasy, unable to stop stringing the dumbest scenarios one after another. We are still in the middle of the final battle. It's looking grim for our good guys. And of course the good guys are the blue cat people aliens, don't forget. Your own species, we are the bad guys. Now, the day still has to be saved. So Kiri dives down to the coral reef and she prays to it by putting her hair penis in it, and she prays for help, right? Well, she actually prays for the death of every human. Well, alright. And Mother Earth naturally answers with a tidal wave of armored sea monsters that she personally aims at the dirty, evil humans to slaughter every single one of them. We get served a composition of gruesome deaths, the score swells, because the movie thinks that this is a triumph. It's genuinely so mind-numbingly stupid. This exact moment was the moment where I knew I had to make a video about it. Just hold on for a second and think about what the fuck is actually happening. Just picture yourself as some totally normal guy, 44 with a bad bag, 2 kids that you can only see over the screen because you're away. He took a hazard posting because the money is good enough and the kids deserve a better future. His boss is an asshole, but at least the pay is right. You're not a soldier, but a maintenance worker, down on the machine deck number 4. Well, tough luck, bucko. I guess you now get obliterated by a squid the size of a small car, torn apart limb from limb in a worshipful slow-motion montage, because a teenager cat alien had sex with a coral reef and decided that our whole species forfeited the right to exist. And the film will call all of that a happy ending. And because that's not retarded enough, we get to the actual ending. Now, I'll be honest, it is one of the funniest acts of self-revelation that I have ever seen on screen. Because Spider's stepsister Roman's cowgirl rode the planet ejaculated a seed that she then fed to Spider. And this didn't just save his life, it didn't just let him breathe the air. Oh no, naturally he gets his very own hair penis now, finally grown enough so he can plug it into the coral reef, into the family server Mother Nature network, which by the way makes a copy of your consciousness so that you can basically live forever in the blue cat people Valhalla. This is usually a privilege that is only rewarded to the blue ones, with very few exceptions. And James Cameron, Spider, is now finally one of them. The tribe gathers around and takes him in. One by one, they're tapping him on the shoulder. Big California surfer smiles all around from the cat people. Yeah man, you're totally one of us now. Well, what we have just watched is the inside of the boomer's head. And the inside of the boomer's head is a toxic cocktail of 2 different things that shouldn't mix: chauvinistic supremacy and guilt. See, anything that doesn't fit the grand narrative has to be violently opposed, but in the most flaccid, feminized way imaginable, while somehow being maximally self-assured about it. The eternal boomer doesn't win an argument. He summons Mother Nature to genocide the oil workers and weeps with joy while it happens. It is total aggression and yet zero spine. It is the boomer in combat, an imaginary monster doing the violence, so his hands can stay clean and his feelings stay tender. He gets to be the warrior and the victim at the very same time. It is maximum moral certainty delivered by proxy, with a tear in his eye. The whole massacre happens far away from his own conscience. Mother Nature did it. It was Mummy. She's the one responsible, right? Underneath it lies the guilt. Guilt for his own kind, and shame for being his own kind. And out of that guilt, he builds himself a religion. Mother Earth on one side, the womb, the network, the warm, the solution, the embrace that asks nothing of you, except that you stop. The green, eco-friendly, save the planet autism, and the paperwork citizenship that asks nothing of anyone. On the other side, we find the Sky Father, the climb, the will to power, the eagle, the thing that commands us to get up, build, become more, conquer the world, because you deserve it. Oh, or was that a bit too dangerous? Well, one god holds you, the other one expects something of you. One wants to turn you into a nice house pet, and the other one invites you on a journey. It tells you that it isn't over just yet. The climb is yours if you take it. And a man whose parents handed him a finished world, like James Cameron, who never had to climb anything himself, he'd rather make himself the pet every damn time. He cannot follow the father's call because it asks him to grow up, and the boomer simply cannot grow up. As such, the entire franchise is really the boomer who dreams of fucking the coral reef, saving the planet, and being accepted by the noble savages as one of them. Forgiveness for being one of the bad people, for being one of the Europeans, so he can finally take the mask off and be told that very deep down he's really one of the good ones. That Eminem isn't the only white nigga. Now, hidden inside that noble savage image is the lesson that the boomer never had to learn, and we, the younger ones, had to. Most young people grew up paying the bill for this very fantasy. The hostilities that we experience on a daily basis, the costs, the lived consequences of the boomer's egalitarian hippie dream, all of the stuff that we get to live through, long ago exceeded the price of just having a livable future. And the young don't get to dream about dissolving into the warm green network, about saving the world by not flying on holiday once a year, because we are the ones who have to clean up behind you. We are forced to reckon with a generation that never grew up, a generation that wants to crawl back into Mother Earth's womb, into a fictional totality that exists nowhere, except inside their own postmodern coping mechanisms. Now, the icing on top of all of that is the thing that brings us back to the person in the beginning. See, the whole movie is a blood and soil indigenous drama. It's ethnic attachment to the land, ancestors and nature, trees, the forest. Oh, so very right-wing, isn't it? Yeah. Rendered as the holiest thing in the universe. But the moment that you so much as hint at the real world parallel, even in the most harmless milquetoast form imaginable, a man simply preferring his own, nah, then he is literally Hitler too. Meanwhile, you venerate the genocidal blue version of the exact same instinct on a screen to save the planet. Yet it is the very same blood and soil, holy when it's painted blue, fascist when it's your neighbor. And over the top of all of this sits the meta myth. It is the one that you make the entire world dance to, isn't it? We are all equal. Equal. Except the cat people, who are better, more equal, realer, purer, and worth more than every dirty human on screen, because they're equal. Now you can tell that when they wrote all of this garbage, James Cameron, the writers, the directors, the actors, the media clowns interviewing them afterward, God, do they feel all so smart and wise. It all sounds so deep and meaningful, but when you look at it, it is just a kinda retarded and pathetic. You are not wise, you're just old. Too old, in fact, to understand the consequences of your own actions, but you were never old enough to become wise. You stayed an eternal child and built yourself a $300 million nursery to feel good in. The Lipcon example from the start is the perfect stand-in. Porschat preaches equality for all, with a stranger's tattoo held up as proof, while the young people in Europe and the West grew up in a country that came after this equality. In my case, it is a Germany that keeps proving to us again and again that the promise of equality is a lie. Quotas here, aid packages there, absurd present sentences and harassment for minor speech infractions, while some people get probation for some of the worst things imaginable, because they played football and were one of us or something. That's just how it is, guys. Your wages are then undercut on a global market by an army of Panjits working for half the pay, with a degree that was printed in the shop of his uncle. But don't you worry, we're all equal now. Well, good luck, folks. I hope that the boomers of today manage to save you from turning into an evil, bitter person like me. Well, it's also pathetic, honestly. Both the people who made this movie and the people that defend the current status quo. Both of them are begging to be told that they are one of the good guys, desperately grasping at the exact ideas that ruined the thing that they want to defend in the first place. At least we can have fun with it. And I'll admit, despite working myself up here, it is rather funny. I'm actually pretty optimistic about the future. The future belongs to the young. And even though all the anger and outrage is rather dominant, you've got to admit that the young people have got a rather clear view of how things really stand. Let's see what we make of it in the coming years. Hopefully we can take a page from the Sky People and stop trying to fuck the coral reef. In that very same spirit, thank you for your time.